Okay, the second of the 4 time periods is the Renaissance period, or Renaissance medicine as we've called it here, round about 1500 to 1700, so those 200 years there. We've put as our key phrase, there's some change, but mostly continuity. It's mostly staying the same. There's not too much change, okay? Let's look at ideas first about what made you sick. Things like the 4 humours, miasma, they all stick around. People still believe in those old medieval ideas. They still believe that God, the church, those supernatural ideas, they still believe in those ideas about what's making you sick. You've got some people that are starting to challenge that a little bit. Thomas Sydenham, often called the English Hippocrates, he does a lot of observation, okay? And he thinks that maybe diseases can be classified to groups rather than individual people being sick in individual ways. He starts to group diseases, like plants. He loves plants as well. Royal Society, a group, an institution, they start to share their ideas through their journal. They've got the backing of the king, they're the Royal Society. They come along towards the end of our period, 1660 they come along, and they start to push the boundaries, look at some new ideas. They've got some basic microscopes, they've got some very, very basic things. They push the idea of animalcules, which look like little tiny molecules, but they're not quite sure. So again, we've not got too much change, most of the same. However, we have got this, the printing press. This is a really big deal, the printing press. It allows ideas, whatever they might be, to be shared quickly and easily. Most importantly, the printing press is not controlled by the church. Anyone can have a printing press. I can have one, I can run it in my house, and you can publish any book you want, which means that new ideas get spread across Europe and especially to Britain. Let's look at approaches to treatment and prevention. A couple of new things here. Iatrochemistry, the idea that some kind of chemicals might help treat you. Again, things like syphilis, which was a sexually transmitted disease that the French king had. That was treated with mercury, so people thought maybe some sort of metals or chemicals could help cure people. Also transference. Transference is the idea that you could rub an onion on your warts and they'd go away into the onion, they'd transfer. That could be a good treatment. Or maybe bring your cow or your sheep into your house, transfer the disease from you to that animal. This one here, these are our 3 medical professionals you'll remember from the medieval period, but they have changed a little bit. Again, you've still got the physicians being the respected people, apothecaries and barber surgeons are a little bit less respected, but now apothecaries and surgeons need licenses to practice. A slight change, heading them more towards the modern surgeons and chemists we might know. Also, there's less hospitals. Henry VIII came along and closes all the monasteries in 1536-ish. That means a lot of the hospitals close. So we only get a few, something like 4 or 5 hospitals, all in London by the end of this period. So hospitals, massive jump downwards. For the most part though, treatment remains the same. People like those old treatments based on the 4 humours like purging or bleeding, they stay popular. We've got these 2 guys that you should definitely revise and learn about. Vesalius, he dissects humans for the first time, shows everyone what the inside of a body looks like, but his ideas aren't very popular. People don't like to challenge it too much, because Vesalius says that Galen is wrong, and everyone goes, what? Galen can't be wrong, we've believed him for hundreds of years. Harvey comes along, he backs up Vesalius, and he looks at how the heart is actually a pump, pumping blood around your body. But again, these guys are putting forward ideas. They've not actually changed treatment very much. We're still mostly sticking with the same old treatments. Your final thing you want to look at for this is the Great Plague. Like I said, this whole period is about changing and continuity. The Great Plague presents you with a great opportunity to compare it with the Black Death about 200 years before. There's lots of similarities and there's a few slight differences, especially in how the government actually deals with it. The government have got more power and there's a lot more effective work by the government in dealing with the Great Plague. I'll tell you once again, you must look into some specifics. What I'm telling you is just a summary. Look into the specifics, get some dates, some names, and that will really help your revision. Thank you.
Well done, Mr. Lair.